So we need to talk about CCAT. That's the mega prison in El Salvador, because we have liberals here, the Democrat Party, which is the party of, being anti-American, that are, trying to make a big deal about Trump's deportations. So first of all, and they're making this big deal about how horrible CCAT is. This is CCAT in El Salvador. It is, I think it's fair. I do. Of course, the liberals who stand with terrorist organizations and they stand with violence and murderers all the time make these ridiculous claims that we're not being fair to people. But it's only certain people they seem to care about. I'll get to that in a minute. But what I wanted to say about CCAT is El Salvador was so crime-ridden that children were not even going to school. They weren't going out to play. The schools were empty. That's how bad the crime was. I've posted a couple of short clips of CCAT, but when the president of El Salvador first opened CCAT, he let only worldwide 3 news journalists come in. And if you go to YouTube and watch one of those from like years back in 2022, they're like a 90-minute whole thing covering all the history and how this all needed to be done. And they're fair about it. And what you'll find, because the way it's presented, if you just watch the short clips, is that these people are there for life and they'll never get out. And most people have seen them. They're in a cell, and honestly, they don't treat them bad. They don't. They're not beaten. This may seem harsh to you, but honestly, what they don't hurt them physically. What they do is humiliate them. But then when you go into the military, they do that too. It's to break the old down with the military anyway, so that they can build up what's positive. Now, many of these people will never get out, but when you watch the longer interviews, like the 90-minute, documentaries on all of this, what you will find when they interview other people is they say, I got 18 years, okay? Are they put in those cells with other gang members? Yes, and they have to learn how to live together. That's a good thing, in my opinion. It is. And then if they act up, they go to solitary confinement. You can make all the arguments you want, but America's not going to end up like El Salvador. Now, if the anti-American party, the Democrats, have their way, we would. Because, of course, they would claim that what Trump is doing is wrong. I will guarantee you that all of this invasion and attack that we were under for 4 years under Biden with the open borders, I guarantee you that there were people that knew exactly where these people were at. And that's why they wanted them out of the country. I don't care what excuse, what terrorists, and that's why Trump, invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, because these are terrorists. You could say they're gangs. That doesn't make it any different. They're terrorists. Trendy Alagra, MS-13. Okay, people that don't have good intentions for America. For people that don't have good intentions for America, they shouldn't be allowed to stay. It's that simple, okay? But part of what El Salvador has, if you watch the whole 90-minute documentary, is they also have these other prisons that is like work program, okay? You can say it's slave labor, but they're in prison for a reason. And they make uniforms for the military and all of this. 91% of El Salvadorians are happy with this. They thought it would never happen. Kids are going back to school now. And these people will tell you that they've killed anywhere from 30 to 50, sometimes 100 people. And to get into those gangs like Trendy Alagra and MS-13, you have to start by killing a family member. But see, they don't just kill somebody and shoot them down. They cut their arms off, they cut their legs off, and then they put their legs where their arms were and put their arms where their legs were. They do wicked shit. It's wicked, okay? So you can feel bad, but these people are not abused. Are the confinements, is it tough when you, it is. It is, as far as, you think, what do they do all day? Well, they do offer a Bible a Bible reading. A minister comes in, and they never, the only time they leave themselves is to come out in this hall here, unless they're going to, solitary confinement, and none of them want to end up there. Or they're going to medical. But yes, they shave their heads. They're not, the most is they're humiliated. The reason the guards wear masks is because they don't want somebody to know who they are, and then the gangs that they still haven't caught in El Salvador then would go after the guards. So that's the reason they're masked. They don't brutalize them. They do humiliate them. I mean, too bad. I mean, they've killed many, 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 many people in the most horrible, horrific ways. So that said, they do have this work program, and many of them have been sentenced. Like one guy said, he's been there. He has his term is 18 years. Some will be there forever. But there comes a point when we cannot let America. If the Democrats had their way, they would want us to end up like El Salvador, okay? Because they hate America. And Glenn Greenwald, he's the newest that he is carrying on, but he's carrying on for a specific reason, okay? And he just, what's interesting about this is he's showing who he is, okay? So he faced backlash from Fox News viewers after defending Mohammed Cahill, a pro-Palestinian activist targeted for deportation. Glenn Greenwald argued that Cahill, a green card holder, is entitled to free speech protections. So no, we need to have standards. But as I've said, you'll never hear Glenn Greenwald stand up for somebody like me. But just like all the Democrats do, they'll stand up for the terrorists being allowed free speech, the murderers being allowed free speech, but not the truly loving Americans being allowed free speech. They want you and I silenced, okay? So the fact is that terrorists, and this is what this Cahill was, what they do is they come in and they use your Constitution against you. That's the subtle, that's part of that subtle revolution. They use your Constitution, and that's what Glenn Greenwald is all about. He's anti-American. Use your Constitution against you to say, no, you have free speech, so we should be allowed to march with Hamas and terrorist organizations in your streets. No, you shouldn't be. We should have standards. If we're going to be a respectable country, we should have standards. But see, this really goes back to that these people, they support terrorist organizations. Then they make some excuse that, oh, this was a green card holder. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that you are a full citizen yet, and that we should just waste time putting you through the court system. We need to get tough about this. We do. Because otherwise, if we follow the Democrats' playbook, which their playbook is anti-American all the way, then we will have what El Salvador had until they cleaned it up. So sometimes you need to be tough. You do. So this is the president of El Salvador that created this prison in 2022. And again, 91% of El Salvadorians, their country is totally different today. But you will get these Democrats here that are going after Trump because they're saying that Trump sent Venezuelan to El Salvador and they should have been sent back to Venezuela. Well, if that's true, and I don't know if it's true, but if it is, then I imagine that, well, those were gangs too, and Trump sent them there because what good would it do to send them back to Venezuelan, because they'll just come back here again. So we have to get tough about this. We have to get tough because it's not fair to these. If you want these people that are truly violent criminals to have a chance, you need to be tough. You need to be tough. And that's what he's done. He's given the innocent people of his country a chance to breathe again, the children in his country to go to school again, okay? That's what should come before murderers and wicked people that are cutting people into little pieces, okay? So if the Democrats want to continue to show their hand, I hope they do, because what is being seen more and more every day is that what they stand for is everything that's anti-American. They always stand with the murderers. They don't stand with the people that love America. But boy, they'll stand with the Palestinian, acting like that Hamas is somehow a legit organization when it's nothing more than a terrorist organization. Glenn Greenwald should maybe move to Palestine. He'd be happier, I think.